What's going on, y'all? This is Ebony Joy with CocoLove Talking Sex. We are back with part 2 of the 3-part series with Catherine, talking about our experience in the lifestyle. We're going to move into BDSM right now, and then we're also going to get into Erotikink, which is how I met Catherine through her very first event out here in Atlanta, Georgia area. So we're going to get right into it because y'all know I like to, let's do it. All that extra is just unnecessary for me. It just is. Okay, so this is episode 17. Like I said, part 2, and this is Black Girl Magic and BDSM. Okay, so one of the things that I learned when I first got out here, because like I told you last episode, I jumped right into the lifestyle. I said I want to do it. I'm ready to go. As soon as I figured out what it was, I was like, "Yep, this is all me." And so I jumped head first. And when I did that, I met somebody that I started a little situation with. We'll call it that. It was a situation. It was a good situation, but it was a situation. Started that situation with, and then I also met somebody else that I started a whole like dom sub situation with. Now, so many people have asked me this, and I eluded the answer because I feel like it was a personal thing when I decided to do this, but I'm going to throw it out on the table now. I felt like I had reached a point in my life where I wasn't able to submit spiritually. I was having trouble letting go, emotionally holding on to baggage, holding on to fear. It was like, how do you want sexual freedom and you want this sexual open lifestyle and this polyamorous lifestyle, and you are holding on to these things that you just can't let go. So I was like, I was always interested in BDSM. I was always interested in the option of being, or the opportunity to train to be a dame. And then I met somebody and they were like, well, what about being a sub? And I was like, nah. And then I did. I was like, no. And then I said, wait a minute. Maybe this is exactly what I should be trying. Because I got to a place where it was like, the submission is bigger than just submitting.
Very much so.
It's way bigger than just submitting and being on your hands and knees and somebody whipping you. That is not what it's about at all. And after talking and being educated, and my sir put me in a chat group, and we talked, and it was open, and all of these things, and it was all vetting process. We were just talking. It wasn't, and I participated in some things. It ended as quickly as it started, but it was great at the same time because I got the lesson that I was searching for without really having to like dip my whole body into the BDSM pool. Which is fine because I like the pool and I'm going to go back to the pool. But I'm just saying, for right now, that's what it was for me. It was like I ended up getting the lesson that I needed to learn, which was the ability to submit and what that means to me without necessarily having to submit to anybody. And, like literally anybody. And so I was like, wow, but it opened my eyes thinking like, how many Black people are in this world and making shit happen? Because I was blown away. And so I got invited to my first, I went to, what is it called out here? Education Stations.
Yeah, 1763.
Yes, 1763. And
yeah.
Oh my God. It was amazing. It was so much fun. And everybody was so free. And just walking around in their outfits. I saw everything from what's that movie? The BDSM. No, yes. I saw an example of 50 Shades of Grey all the way to, I don't know what's happening over here, but they are happy. Okay? I watched demos. I watched people being caned. I participated in a fire demo. Oh, yes, it was sensual. Amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so that got my mind percolating. And then very soon after, I met her. And I met a couple of other people who within, in like a 60-day period, I met 3 women in the BDSM lifestyle, and you and one of the other of the 3 are dames. And I was like, this is real. Like, I figured it would be real. It's a possibility. But I was like, no, for real, for real. And so how long have you been a dom? Or is that, I mean, I know, is it kind of like, like if I say dom, that's a bad thing. I should say dame.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah. How long have you been doing that? What's been your experience?
Okay, so my experience started very much like yours because all of my life, I've always been the one in charge.
Okay.
I'm the oldest in my family. I run all the stuff. I am the one in charge. And I had gotten to a point in my life where I was completely overwhelmed. And I was just like, I need something to let go. I had to let go. And I had met a lady through the swing community, and she and I became best friends. And she introduced me to someone who I thought was somebody she was dating, but later found out he was her dom. And she took me there, and he like pulled out this trunk of stuff. And I was like, ooh, what's that?
The trunk of stuff. The bag of things. It's like laid all out in this organized fashion. You're like, what is happening?
So he just, started doing us, and I was there, and I was like, for me, I just wanted to experience. I wanted to just experience some of everything. And the one thing he said to me, he was like, you would be an amazing submissive. And I was like, me? Submissive? I was like, so, like you. Okay.
No.
So, but it piqued my interest. And so I went on this education rampage of trying to find out what that was. In the meantime, she introduced me to the gentleman who is now my dom and has been my dom for over 6 years.
Serious.
So I met him, and, she introduced me, and he was like, when we first met, I didn't know. So he was just like, oh, so I'm a dom. And I was like, you're a dom? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. Like, somebody told me I would be a really good submissive. And he laughed. He was like, okay, yeah. I was like, no, like really, I want to do that. And so he's like, okay, I'll see, went through the whole vetting process. And like, when I say I was in it to win it, I'm one of those overachiever people.
Right.
That's like,
Let's do it right now. Yep. Go. What we doing? I'm ready.
I said, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to do. And yeah, I was like on it. And he even says to this day, I never thought that you were really serious when you said you wanted that. But I soon quickly realized that you were.
Yeah.
And so I entered this lifestyle in a submissive mode as a way to escape a life of dominance, a life of being in control. Because in those moments, I was able to go release. I mean, from the minute I walked through the door, everything about my life outside that door was not allowed inside that space. I could do and not have to think and plan and then do and then execute and then follow up. I could do and relax. And in that training, I learned a lot about myself. I had to release a lot of things. I was highly anxious. Like, I would have sessions that his only instruction to me was to lay down and take a nap.
That's it.
Lay down, take a nap. Because I was... And my life was just so anxious. And he taught me control. He taught me patience. He taught me so many lessons that I hadn't learned about myself. So, yes, there were fun times when you have the things, but he taught me things about me that changed me.
Okay.
But in that process, he was like, you would be a really good dom. I was like, no, I don't want to be in charge of nobody else. I was like, I know how much work I am for you. Yeah. So I don't want to be in charge of anybody else. But he just kept after me because he saw me as a whole person.
Right.
And so he was really the catalyst to pushing me to that side, to the dom side. So technically within this community, I'm considered a switch.
Okay.
So because I submit to one, but I also but I also dominate for another. And it is a balance, which is really weird for me because I'm almost as middle of the road as you can get on both sides. But it was creating a balance, but also helping someone learn the lessons that I had learned for myself.
Okay.
So it's more than just the whips and chains and all that stuff. It goes way beyond that because your first priority is to do no harm. Everything that you do when you take on that role as a dominant is to help that person become the best person that they can be for themselves. Not just for you, but for them. And in that process, they become right for you.
Okay.
Because through that process, they are able to submit because they know that the things that you're asking from them are positive.
Okay.
Or to create stability or to create those things that will make them better. It's not always easy.
Right. I can only imagine that it's probably, there's got to be some sort of, like, not just balance within yourself, but balance in helping someone else be the best that they can be. Because you have to figure out where you are, figure out what they need, figure out how to give it to them without forcing it on them necessarily, but guiding them into it.
It is very much so, more so guiding. And I feel like personally, I've, even though I have a submissive slave, actually, that I've been placed in a role within the community. It's more of a mentor. It's more of education and being there for those questions. For especially like when people like you're like, this is real, and I'm like, yeah. And going beyond the glitz and glamour of the 50 Shades of Grey and talking about how you live this life, because this is my life 24/7. This is integrated into every portion of my life. I wear this 24/7, 365. I might take it off once or twice to clean it. But literally, I wear this collar 24/7 because this is who I am. This is not something that I do. This is who I am.
Now, some people though in the BDSM community, it's not 24/7.
No, it is not, and that's not how I didn't start 24/7.
Yeah, right. So I was going to ask if that how you started, or you started off like just during this time, just on the weekends, or
I had one day a week that I went and I had a session. Like I said, I would go sometimes and it would be like lay down and have a nap. You know what I'm saying? But it was also, some of those sessions were learning to release that control, that natural dominance that I always wanted to have.
Right. And that's what I was talking about. Like, that was one of the reasons why it was like, I know spiritually seems so like that doesn't have anything to do with sex.
But it does.
But it does. And it's not, BDSM is not just about, it's almost, sex doesn't even really have anything to do with it. It's for me, it was like, I know that I want to get to a place in my life where I want to submit more. And it was like more to myself, more to my higher self. How can I do that? And I needed a tangible thing. That's how my mind started.
Submission is about trust.
Right.
So to get to a point where you trust another human being with your life.
Right. And see, that was the issue with me and my potential side. It was like, you're not really giving me a reason to just open up. Because I'm like you. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say I want to do it, I genuinely, truly, in my heart, I want to do it. So I'm going to go for it. There won't be any pausing. I'm like, yep, this is the opportunity and all the tools right here. Let's go. I'm ready. And I kept finding myself pausing. But that's okay, because Spirit was protecting me. in my situation, like I said, my situation was not bad at all. It ended as quickly as it started, but it was not bad. I learned a ton. I learned a ton from him. I learned a ton from the people that he introduced me to. I'm still friends with someone that he introduced me to. It was great. It really was. But I still haven't found that.
And believe me, when you find it, you will know.
Like
it will. And I tell people, I say, I lived my whole life. It wasn't a man alive that could tell me what to do.
Exactly, and it's
what couldn't tell me. And I'm telling you, this man, he don't have to raise his voice. He just look, and I'm telling you, it is nothing that I would not do. For him, because I know there is nothing that he wouldn't do for me. And
well, I mean, 6 years. I mean, that's real solid right there. That's solid.
It's solid. And I mean, we've been through some serious things, but it's something when you learn a person. And if you can't, and I tell people, I say there's good and bad in everything. And if a person is trash, they trash. Okay, they're going to be trash in or outside of this community. But if you find a person that is a genuine person, who is someone you would trust outside of this community, and they show themselves and prove themselves and are consistent in the things that they say and do, that's someone you can submit to. That's someone you can.
And there were definitely holes in my situation, and it kept me from being able to just trust. And then personality issues that I would start, just little red flags, even being someone who didn't know nothing about it. Nothing about what I was doing.
Pay attention to the red flags.
Yeah, nothing about what I was doing, just whatever background information that I had studied or looked up, or just conversations I had with people, or just listening to, maybe ear hustling at an event and hearing somebody talking, being like, okay.
Yeah.
And it just needed to, it was over. It's so interesting because the day that my potential sir ended our relationship was the same day that I was going to end the relationship. And I was so stressed about it. And I remember, and this is why I know that my desire to enter into the BDSM lifestyle, as well as being polyamorous, was divine, like spiritually. I'm a very spiritual person. Y'all know I have videos, I do cards, I love writing. Y'all know this. I prayed about it. I was like, angels, just because I'm so stressed. I don't want to have to do this. I was nervous about it. And then I was like, y'all take care of this. And the next day I was like, I'm just going to do it. They sent me a Facebook message, a message on Facebook Messenger, and I was like, yes. I mean, I was jumping around. I was like, oh, I'm so happy. I was like, yes. And all I said in my message, though, I was like, okay. They were done. Okay, they could not understand. Only way they will know now is because they might end up seeing this video. But like, that is why I was gonna break up with you. And Spirit did it for me. Okay.
So and I am too. And I grew up church. And that whole submission thing within Christian community, that was something that I struggled with. I was like, I ain't submitting them to submit to what I can do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I had to get to an understanding of what real submission is. See, people don't understand there's a lot of power in submission.
Right, which is something that I was told, something that I watched, something that I learned. I learned.
There is a lot of power in submission, because within this community, people think, oh, well, the dom grabs you. No. You choose who you submit to. That is your choice.
Yep.
You petition for that. Yep. So I'm looking at you. We're vetting. We're getting to know each other. And I'm saying, you know what? You are someone that I deem worthy to hand my life to.
Yep. And it's like, I haven't met nobody like that yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope, I haven't.
And believe me, I tell people every day, I've as long as I've been in this community, I have seen some tragedies. Do you hear me? I've seen some tragedies. And I am, and I continue to say to this day, I am blessed and lucky to have met the man that I met because I have seen some tragedies. I have seen some broken people through this community because there are predators within this community.
Right.
And they use this life as a guise to abuse.
Okay, so in the BDSM community, how have you noticed that there are a lot of black women, or have you noticed that there are not a lot of black women, as far as being doms are concerned?
There are more black women than people realize.
Okay.
And actually,
has it always been like that, or is it like a trendy thing? Like,
no, there are women. I mean, I've seen magazines from the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Okay.
You know, we've been a part of the BDSM community and forever. And there are historical documents about the femdoms and all of those things. But in this community, there is a group of women, BFD, Black Femdoms.
Oh,
and so
really?
it's a whole organization, and they.
Oh, I need to know all about them.
Oh yeah, they have a page on Facebook. I'll connect you. But
okay, cool.
They help. You know what I'm saying? They were one of the first groups that I met when I moved down here.
Okay.
And even when I moved down here, I was still in a submissive role, but they accepted me into their munches because they would allow subs to come to their munches and come to some of their things.
Okay.
But as I began to grow and progress, they became mentors.
Okay.
And so that helped me out a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I need all
community.
of that. I need all of that.
Yeah.
So in the BDSM community, have you felt like it aided in your sexual freedom, and how so?
Almost definitely.
Okay.
Because I mean,
did it enhance it? Like opening yourself up into the lifestyle is a sexual freedom, right? And then I say crossing over into BDSM is a whole nother sexual, like it's an advancement. That's what I think it feels like.
It was, I lived in a mononormative box.
Okay.
A great majority of my life. Even though I've known since I was like 12 that I was attracted to women.
Okay.
But I lived a mononormative life. Like you said, things that back then I'd be like, ooh. That was who I was.
Right.
When I made that transition into the lifestyle, I was like, I need to explore that side of me.
Okay.
So that was my way of determining my sexuality. When I met Sir, it opened me up because he would always ask me, what is it that you want? And I didn't know enough to sell him anything. I was like, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
I just want to find me. And that's all I kept saying. I want to find me. And it got to a point that he would just ask me, like, what is a fantasy you've had? What is it that you want? And I would tell it to him, and he would make it happen. Like, anything I thought I wanted to do, if I told it to him, he would make it happen.
He made that helped in the trust.
Yeah,
like,
because he provided a safe space for me to find me.
Yeah, which is what you said you wanted.
Right.
And so he just started.
He just
and followed through on his actions.
I followed through.
Right. So, see, for me, it's like that. I desire that, but at the same time, this is why I understand you were saying that you were switch. But at the same time, I also desire that piece of me where it's like, I don't want to do anything. I'm just so tired. Like, I'm just so tired of controlling every little situation and being in charge of all of these things. You know, I mean, even right down to like in dating, it's like, I feel like if I don't make this the first move, it's just not going to happen because people tend to be intimidated by me. And it's like, I don't know why. I mean, I feel like I'm the nicest, sweetest thing you could ever meet. Like, I you know what I mean? But it's like,
confidence is threatening.
See,
And people recoil because they're not self-confident.
Okay.
And when they're brought face to face to complete self-confidence, and that's different, especially when you see a 5 foot tall, round black woman to be confident. I may not be the best body in the room. I may not be the sexiest in the room. I tell people I'm as average as they come. I ain't got big boobs. I ain't got big. I'm average and I'm 5 feet tall. But let me tell you, when I enter a room.
Because when I met you, when I met you, you were entering a room the whole night. I was like, who is that? I kept seeing you move about, but I did not know at the time that you were the Catherine that I got the ticket to through the person that you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. And I was like, and you had the mask on and your hair. And I was like, yes. I was like, who is that bumping through here? And then again, back to the shoes.
It's that.
Okay, so do you think that confidence, that self-confidence, that self-awareness, is that a tool that it makes a good female dom? Or just in general is what makes a good dom?
It's in general what makes a good dom.
Okay.
Because you have to be able to command without being domineering. Without being a tyrant. Remember I told you, I said, sir is the only man who can look at me and do this. And my big voice goes from this to, yes, sir.
Nice. That is awesome, because hearing that makes me be like, whatever. Like, not me. But at the same time, it's like, that sounds like that would be nice. It would be relaxing. And for some reason, I can understand that seems like that would be like, like, just calm down. Oh yeah, right. I can calm down. I don't have to. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like that. That alone is appealing. It's attracting. It's like, so we'll see. Maybe one day we'll see. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, so I have a really quick fun question. If you had one wish for the Black women in the BDSM community, what would it be? If you could come up with a wish for that could be granted for us, so to speak. Based on your experience.
That we will all be able to be true to ourselves, true to our community, and true to our charges.
Nice. Y'all hear that? True to yourselves, true to your community, and true to your charges. Okay, so this woman here, let's get back to how we started this. Erotic Kink. We're going to talk about the upcoming event next. Peace, sex, and love.